We are going to start. The rest participants will join us in between. Okay. So yes, in this lecture, obviously this is an important lecture. Two reasons are there because this is my last lecture with you guys, electrodynamics, and it is also important because we are going to study today about two most important topics. First one is the rectangular waveguide and those questions related to the transmission lines. And the second one is method of images. If you guys remember that we have already studied the theory of method of images and some derivations we have done. And today we'll do some questions, some problems from the previous year papers we will do today. Yeah, so we are going to start these words. In case you guys don't understand any topic, let me know. Yes, so today we are going to study about transmission line theory, rectangular waveguide, and there are two modes in rectangular waveguide, T and TM modes, how they occur and how do we calculate the frequencies of T and TM modes, and at last we'll do some questions of method of images. So basically, what is a transmission line? So if obviously you guys are using your mobiles and laptops to join the online classes. So do you ever think how we are able to make this so easier in so easy way? How all the things we are getting, the fact behind it is transmission line theory. Transmission line basically is a part of electronics, but due to the electromagnetic wave which generate in on those transmission line, we also study the transmission line theory in electromagnetic theory. So for any electrical system to work or any information to deliver from one place to another place, we need wires. We need some connection between the source and the object. Yes. So the receiver and the producer, two are the main things. So the producer is the source, and basically wherever it is a source, there should be an electrical circuit and a load. So at low frequencies, power is considered to be delivered to the load through the wire. Means that wire that is connected between source and load have all the load because we are transferring the power to the load. In other words, we are transferring the information to a wire, and the load is getting that information in low frequency ranges as power, and then it uh, modulates and demodulates, all the things happen, and then it send it, means the information, to the receiver. So all the cell phones and laptops and wirelesses work on the transmission line theory, and obviously those transmission lines are work efficiently in the microwave frequency region. The first thing you guys should always remember that the power which is generated in the transmission line, the frequency lies between microwave region. Okay, so basically any physical structure that will guide an electromagnetic wave from one place to another is called a transmission line. Some basic things. you guys should always remember. So these are the types of transmission line. We will not study them deep, but just a brief overview. These are the types of transmission lines. There are two wire line, there are coaxial cable, there are waveguides, there are planar transmission lines, and many types of planar transmission lines there are. But we will focus on this one, the third one. Let me select the pointer. Yes. So we will focus on this, on waveguide in our today's lecture. And most of the questions which are coming in your exams, they are from rectangular waveguide. So yes, all the questions we will do will be from this topic, the rectangular waveguide. So yes, it is an important topic. So the shapes of various types of waveguides you can see. This is your rectangular waveguide. I'm sure if you have visited your physics laboratory, either in your school time or in your graduation time or in your post-graduation time, you have seen these types of structures, because these structures, these things are the basics of any electrical equipments. We use them in a wide ranges, in many types of equipments. So this is the rectangular waveguide. You can see the image, it looks like this, and this is hollow. There is nothing between here to here. This is a hollow waveguide, and electromagnetic waves generate in between this region generates electromagnetic waves. Okay, so this is related to the electromagnetic wave. This is why we are studying. The rectangular waveguide uses So the first one is reduce attenuation loss. It can operate only above certain frequencies. That means it is acting as a high pass filter. I'm sure you have studied low pass filter and high pass filter in electronics.
Yes.
So yes. So basically, there are two types of waveguides, circular and rectangular. You know now. We will assume lossless rectangular. So the picture I was showing you now, it is a lossless rectangular waveguide. So our focus will be on this one. So lossless rectangular waveguide is made of basically lossless dielectric material. Lossless dielectric means a type of dielectric material in which there is no power loss. Okay, this is the basic definition. And the walls of the rectangular waveguides are perfect conductor. Okay, so there will be two types of wave which are generating in that rectangular waveguide, and those waves will obey these two relations. These relations are coming from the Maxwell's relations. The first one is for the electric field, the second one is for the magnetic field, and this K square has the value omega square mu epsilon c. This epsilon c is for a perfect conductor, C for conductor. So the first equation will be del 2E plus K square equals to 0 and del 2H plus K square H equals to 0. So let's do a small derivation for the electrical part of electromagnetic waves which are generating in the waveguide. So del 2 Ez plus k square Ez equals to 0. What we are assuming? We are assuming the electric field is in the z direction. So the del 2 can be written as I cap del 2 over del x square plus del 2 over del y square plus, and so on. You know this thing. Sorry, I cap is not there. Del 2 over del x square, del 2 over del y square plus del 2 over del z square is del square. So just we are opening this one. Okay, how we will use this equation 1? Put it as equation 1. How we can use this? We are how we can solve this? We will solve this equation by method of separation of variables. So we will separate Ez as the function of x, y, and z. So we can write it as xx, yy, zz. And you know the method of separation of variables. You are studying mathematical physics, and there you have solved many questions on this method of separation of variables. And you have studied the same method in your graduation also. So when we will put this exyz instead of this exyz, this one here, 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 and here, then we will get this type of expression. Y and Z will cut for the first term, X and Z will cut from here, and X and Y will cut each other from here, and finally we will get this. What does X double dash means? If this X double dash is d2 over dx square, this Y double dash is d2 over dy square, and this Z double dash is d2 over dz square as well. This k square will come from here to here, and it will be minus now. Yes, moving ahead, this is our equation. Let us assume this is kx square, this is ky square, and this we are assuming as gamma for our convenience to solve the questions. And these are the some specific results we can get from these two equations above. So xx will be now c1 cos kxx plus c2 sin kxx. Yy will be now c3 cos kyy plus c4 sin kyy. Z will be now c5 exponential gamma z plus c6 exponential minus gamma z. We'll solve these three equations where we will assume h square as kx square plus ky square and h square as gamma square plus k square. This is the important assumption we will do, and we will solve these equations using Faraday's and Ampere's law. Means in a simple way, we are introducing Maxwell equations here. So the x component of electric field will become this one, y component of electric field will become this one, x component of magnetic field will become this one, and y component of magnetic field will become this one. So if we know obviously Ez and Hz, because we are applying electric field in Z direction, and we know how much electric field we are applying, and we are also applying the magnetic field in Z direction. So we know these values. So if once we know Ez and Hz, we will put these values here, and we can get Ex, Ey, Hx, Hy, all these things. Yes, now we will solve those four equations, and we can conclude some results like some modes of propagation. So the first mode is TEM, means transverse electric mode. TEM means transverse electric and magnetic. Okay, so in this mode, the Z component of electric and magnetic field is 0. Okay, if Z component of electric and magnetic field is 0, that means the wave can't propagate in this direction. Okay, so this is our TEM mode. Second one is our TE, transverse electric. In this, only Z component of electric field is 0. Okay, next one is TM, transverse magnetic. In this, Z component of magnetic field is 0. So these are three modes, the important modes in rectangular waveguide. Okay, we have to study these three modes precisely, TEM, TE and TM modes, and Most of the questions which are coming in your exams are from these two modes only, TE and TM modes. So we will solve all the questions for these two modes. So for EZ, when we are making a single term for EZ, we are getting this one. You can get this expression by solving all the equations we have discussed in earlier slides. So we are getting this much equation. This is a big equation. So we will apply some boundary condition to reduce the size of equation. Yes. So if we are assuming a rectangular waveguide like this one, it is situated in X and Y plane, and this one, this is your Z axis. The length is A and the breadth is B of this waveguide. So EZ is 0 at Y is 0 and B. So here and here at these 2 points, EZ is 0. Obviously, we can see in the diagram. And EZ is 0 at X equals to 0 and A. Again on this point and on this point, Z component of electric field is 0. So these are the two boundary conditions we are applying, and we are getting this type of results. Like we are getting Kx equals to M pi upon A, where M equals to 1, 2, 3 and so on. So this value of Kx we can get from the first boundary condition. Okay. And next one we will get about Yy, about something for Yy. So sin Kyy, where Yy is in the form, and Ky will be n pi over b, where n is also 1, 2, 3 and so on. So we are also getting the values of Ky. Next one is solution for Exyz. What it will be? It will be A to Ez equals to A to A4 sin kxx sin kyy e raised to the power minus j beta z. This last term is only transformed. Gamma is transformed into minus j beta and nothing. And as these two values are same and these two values are same, so we can convert them into one term. This is there is a proper process behind the reducing these equations, but we will not study the whole derivation because it is time taking and of no use with the from the aspect of exams. So just we will focus on some formulas. If we are talking about transverse magnetic mode, there will be a cutoff. What will be the values? These are the values for transverse magnetic mode. Gamma is your under root kx square plus ky square minus k square whole under root. Okay, so kx is m pi over a, we know this thing. Ky is n pi over b, and k square you already know, omega square mu epsilon. So this is the value of your gamma. This gamma is, if question is coming to calculate gamma, then it will say calculate the attenuation constant. This gamma is basically attenuation constant. Second one is the cutoff frequency. So the formula for cutoff frequency will be this one. Remember this formula. Fc equals to 1 upon 2 pi, 1 upon under root mu epsilon under root of m pi over a whole square plus n pi over b whole square. Again, if one is giving the condition that gamma equals to alpha and beta equals to 0, then we will use this situation for any question. Omega square mu epsilon will be less than of this value in the bracket, m pi over a whole square plus n pi over b whole square. That means if this is the value of k square, na? That means if k square is less than this value, then there is no propagation. No propagation means everything is attenuated. This condition is called evanescent. A new word. No need to remember this word because they will never give the word in the exam. But for your kind information, you should know these things. So for attenuation, this is the condition, and for propagation, this is the condition. Just the sign is changed. Omega square mu epsilon will be now greater than m pi over a whole square plus m pi over b whole square. Okay. Some cases for TM modes we are studying. Now, what is the cutoff frequency? The cutoff frequency is the frequency below which attenuation occurs and above which propagation takes place. Yeah. Attenuation is occurring below the cutoff frequency and propagation is occurring above the cutoff frequency. So the one term for the cutoff frequency in transverse magnetic mode is this one, u dash by 2 under root m by a whole square plus n by b whole square. What is this u dash? You will come to know when we will solve the questions. The phase constant, this is also important formula. Sometimes they ask what is the phase constant. So yes, phase velocity, see, here is that UP. So basically UP is the, U is the velocity. It is always phase velocity in rectangular waveguide. The wavelength we can also get, and the intrinsic impedance. There is another formula for the intrinsic impedance. Now, this is if Hz equals to, we are getting Hz. So Hz has some value and Ez is 0. That means now we will talk about transverse electric mode. Now we will apply boundary condition for magnetic field. The same boundary conditions we will use. The same results we will get, and Hz will be B1 B3 cos kxx cos kyy exponential minus j beta z. Now for transverse electric or transverse magnetic mode, we will get same expression. Okay, the cutoff frequency will be same as there was from transverse magnetic mode. Okay, the dominant mode. What is the dominant mode? Basically, dominant mode is the mode which has the lowest cutoff frequency. So for transverse electric, TE10 is dominant mode. Many times this question has been asked in exams, like in BHU's paper, NSC entrance, in Rajasthan University, in Central Universities, and in IIT JAM, in JAS, in BARC. Many times this question has been asked that what is the dominant mode for transverse electric for any rectangular waveguide. So it is always TE10. Let's do some questions so that you can get more information about these rectangular waveguide. So this is the question number 1, which is saying, consider a rectangular waveguide with transverse dimensions 2 meter into 1 meter. These are the values of A and B. Driven with an angular frequency, omega is also given, which transverse electric mode, that means TE mode, will propagate in this waveguide. And there are 4 options. And in each option, there are 3 modes. We have to calculate the group of modes which possess when the wave is propagating in the waveguide. This question is from NET June 2015, and believe me, it is an easy question. Every value is given. So just put the formula. This is your formula. Omega Mn equals to C pi under root m square upon a square plus n square upon b square. What is this C? C is the velocity of light, 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Just one by one, we will put some values. We will put m equals to 1 and n equals to 0 first. So put 1 here and 0 here. You are getting 1 by a square. The value of a is given in your question, which is 2. Just put the value, you are getting omega 10 4.71 into 10 to the power 8 radian per second. Yes. Again, now put m equals to 0 and n equals to 1. So omega 01 you will get 9.42 into 10 to the power 8 radian per second. Third one, we will now put 1 m and n. So omega 11 will be this one. Again, omega 20 will be this one. Again, omega 22 will be this one. Up to that value, you will calculate up to that value of the omega given in the question. What is omega given? Omega is given 10 to the power 9 radian per second. So just one value less and one value more. Till then, you will calculate. So we are getting here 10 to the power 8, 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 and this is greater than 10. So it will now become 10 to the power 9 now. Obviously, it will become 10 to the power 9. It is greater than 10 now. Okay. So less than 10 to the power 9, having those value, if we are getting less than 10 to the power 9, all those modes will propagate the wave. If any value is greater than that omega which is given in the question, that value will be discarded. So which values we are getting? We are getting for 10 mode, 01 mode, 11 is also greater than, we will not consider this one, and 20 mode. So 10, 01 and 20. Just look at the options 10, 01 and 20. This may be the answer. Just check the others too. 01, 11 and 20. No. 11 is here, it is discarded. 011011, again it is discarded. 0110 and 22, again it is discarded. So yes, the right answer will be option number A. The easiest method to solve these types of questions, I am telling you guys, please follow this method only. These are the 5 marks questions. Okay, and you can get all the 5 marks very easily. Okay, moving ahead, this is the next question. It is also easy. A waveguide has a square cross section of side 2A. For TM modes of wave vector K, the transverse electromagnetic modes are obtained in terms of a function, and it is the function. With the boundary condition, there is also given the boundary condition. The frequency omega of the lowest mode is given by, you can see here the values of X and Y, they are already giving, that is A. So obviously we will put our values for X and Y as A. Okay, now we have to calculate omega here. We have to calculate the frequency for the lowest mode only. And this question is from NET June 2016. How we can solve these types of questions? Look here, this is again the same formula. Now you guys have to remember this formula. Please remember this one. That is omega square mn equals to c square pi square m square upon a square plus n square upon b square. Now we have given this the values of rectangular waveguide, which is cross section, which is 2a. We have given the cross section 2a. Okay, so we will put a and b as 2a and 2. I was telling you that they are giving the values of X and Y. Here they are giving plus minus A and plus minus A. A means a unit range. So we will consider the values of M and N as 1. A means the unit range. If they will say 2A, then M will be 2. And here is 3A, then N will be 3. Okay. So M and N, we will put 1 and 1. So for omega 11, like the values of M and N are 1, 1 now, we will get this value, and we will solve this, and we can easily get omega 11 equals to c square pi square upon 2a square. What is this omega 11? This is our desired propagation mode. And what is they asking? They are asking frequency for the lowest mode. So the frequency for the lowest mode will add some constant value, which is c square k square. So omega square will be equal to c square k square plus omega 11 square. Just put the value and you can get the answer. Okay, so the correct answer will be option number C. Again moving to the third question, which is a hollow waveguide supports transverse electric modes with the dispersion relation k equals to 1 upon c under root omega square minus omega mn square, where omega mn is mode frequency, the speed of flow of electromagnetic energy at the mode frequencies. Now they are asking the speed, means the value of u or the value of v. I have told you that in any waveguide, the velocity is always the group velocity. So we will calculate Vg, group velocity. This question is from NET June 2018. And here is the mode frequency, that is omega mn. That means our omega and omega mn are equal. Our frequency is our mode frequency. So just put omega equals to omega mn, you will get Vg equals to 0. So the correct option will be 0, the third one. It was an easy question. Okay. So if any query up to this question, you can ask me. Otherwise, we are moving ahead towards method of images. We will do some questions and I will tell you how to solve the questions of method of images. See guys, exams are near, very near, and there are few days left. And this is an important topic. So don't go for your exams without reading this topic, because this topic can give you 5 marks. There may be 2 questions of method of images in your paper. It is quite simple to solve. So let me see you some questions, then I will ask you whether you are able to do or not. So the question 1 is, these questions are from my notes only. I have put some easy questions and then some average questions. So question 1 is, a point charge q of mass m is kept at a distance d below the grounded infinite conducting sheet. So just pick this word, grounded infinite conducting. If grounded word is coming in your question, if grounded conducting word is coming in your question, that means you guys will solve that question by method of images. Okay. Which lies in the xy plane, what is the value of d for which the charge remains stationary? And there are 4 options. The question is saying that there is a charge q that has a mass m, and there is a grounded conducting plane. Okay, charge is situated here at a distance d from this plane. Now we have to calculate the value of d, the value of d for which the charge remains stationary here. Means it is not oscillating, it is not moving here and there, it is just stationary. We have to calculate that value for d. So how to solve these types of questions? So yes, this is your diagram. This was your charge which is placed here. Okay, it is minus q or plus q. This is your charge plus q which was placed here at distance d below this plane. So method of image is saying put another charge on other side of that plane. That will be your image charge. And then using symmetry and boundary conditions, solve the problem. This is basic of method of image. So what we will do, we will just put the same charge of same magnitude but different sign, minus q here, at the same distance above the grounded conducting plane, d distance above. This is the real charge and it is its image. So it is your image charge. Now the force on this charge from this charge will be, what will be the force? So for charge to remain stationary, force on plus q charge due to minus q must be balanced by gravitational force. How the charge can be stationary? When some other force is balancing this force. So the electrostatic force will be equal to the gravitational force. Obviously, the charge is below, so some gravitational force we can also apply downward. So the gravitational force will act, mg will act downward, like in this direction. It will act in this direction. And this minus q charge will pull this charge in upward direction. So this charge will be stationary if these two forces are balancing each other. So yes, this force is equal to mg. So you know how to calculate the Coulomb force, k q1 q2 upon the distance square. This d and this d is your 2d is equals to mg, and you can get the value of d, which is q over 4 under root mg pi epsilon. So the right answer is this one. Option number 8. Easy now? Second one. A point charge Q is placed symmetrically at a distance d from two perpendicularly placed grounded conducting infinite plates as shown in figure. You can see in this figure there are two perpendicular grounded conducting plates. So I am telling you that just pick these words: grounded, conducting, infinite. That means this is the method of image problem. Okay. There is a charge in between these two plates, which is situated d distance apart from these two grounded conducting plates. We have to calculate the net force on this charge. Net force on this charge we have to calculate in this question. Plus, these four options are telling us that we also should calculate the direction of this charge, where the force is applying on this charge. We will calculate the direction too. So how to solve these type of questions? Obviously, there are two grounded conducting planes. So there will be an image charge here, another image charge here. So this is plus q now. It will be minus q. It also will be minus q. But there will be three charges only. And without any symmetry, we can't apply boundary condition. We know this thing. Okay. So we will make some symmetry here. To make a symmetry, we will put a charge plus q here again. So there will be a bunch of 4 charges for this type of questions. Now, this is the formula of find out the number of images. N will be equal to 360 over 90 minus 1 equals to 3. What is this 90? 90 is the theta. This is your theta. If two planes are inclined, at some angle theta, then how many images we will form to generate a symmetry? So this is the formula 360 by theta minus 1. And here theta is 90 degrees. The question is saying that they are perpendicularly aligned. That is why we are putting theta equals to 90 degrees. So 360 over 90 minus 1 equals to 3 we are getting. One question has already come on this formula in your NET exam. So you guys can see the previous year solved papers and you can get these types of questions too. So one important formula is also here. Now come to this problem. So on this charge plus q, if you want to calculate the force, this minus q charge will also put some efforts to attract it. There will be a force F2 in this direction too, and there will be a force in this direction too due to this minus q. So basically, this is your F2, this is your F1, this is your F2, and this is your F3. You will calculate all the three forces. So you know how to calculate the forces. Just you have to put the direction too. This F1 is in minus x direction. Yes, it is in minus x direction. This F2 is in minus y direction. Yes, it is in minus y direction. And this F3 is in. Now, in which direction it is? So it is your y-axis. It is your x-axis. It is mid between somewhere in this x and y. So you can put x cap plus y cap. But the magnitude is 1 for this one and 1 for this one. So under root 1 plus 1. So under root 2 you will get, and F3 you can calculate. So the total charge or net charge will be F1 plus F2 plus F3. Just add those things, you can get the results. This minus is coming. Okay, your resultant force for these two will be in this direction. Force for this one will be in this direction, but there are two charges. There is a resultant. So this force will have higher magnitude. That is why the charge will displace towards center. So the direction is towards the center. Okay. So you will get the right answer as this one, this B. Yes, q square over 8d square 2 under root 2 minus 1 towards the, towards the center. Where is it? Towards the center. Corner, not corner. This is the towards the center. Okay. Option D is the right one. This question has already come in your exams. You can see when we will solve more questions. Question 3 is a charge minus E is placed in vacuum at the point D00 where D is greater than 0. The reason X is less than equal to 0 is filled uniformly with metal. The electric field at the point D by 200 is. This is very easy question. There are 4 options. How we will solve this question? There is a charge minus E at distance D from any infinite conducting plane. So firstly, what we will do? We will make an image charge. Image charge on another side of that plane. So image charge will be plus E. At the same distance D. We have to calculate at D by 2. There is a point charge somewhere here at D by 2. So there is a point here. And we have to calculate electric field on this point. So electric field on point D by 2, 0, 0 we will calculate, and we have two charges. So due to this charge, there will be some electric field. Due to this charge, there will be some electric field. So we will get two components, obviously, and we will get this type of result. This is a quite easy formula or quite easy recipe to solve these types of questions. Okay, this is another type of question for method of image, but here is no plane. No plane is here. There is a grounded conducting sphere. Okay, so these types of problems are generally coming, but there are also quite easy. A charge plus q is kept at a distance 2r from the center of grounded conducting sphere. Find image charge and its distance from the center. So two formulas you guys will remember. For the sphere, if they are saying sphere, then the formula for image charge will be q dash equals to minus r q over a. What is a here? A is that distance which they will give in the question. We have given the distance 2r, na? So a is 2r. So q dash will be, you will put just 2r, you will get minus 2 by 2. Okay, distance we have calculated, and sorry, the charge we have calculated. We want also calculate distance. So the formula for distance is r square by a. A is that distance 2r. So r square by 2r. So the image charge will be at r by 2 distance, and the image charge will possess the value minus q by 2. Okay, this is only for grounded conducting sphere. Now, we will solve some questions from previous year papers. And this is the same question. You guys now know the answer. A point charge q is placed symmetrically at a distance infinite plates as shown in figure. The net force on the charge in this unit. This question is from NET December 2013. It was an easy question. Now it is looking easy too because we have solved this type of problem. Okay, so the same method we will follow. We will make a symmetry. We will put two image charges. Okay, and again a charge to cover the symmetry. Then we will get some forces F1, F2 and F3 in this side. and we will calculate those F1, F2, F3. So to get the net force, we will add them up and we can get the results. Next one is from net December 2017. 2-point charges plus 3q and minus q are placed at 00d and 002d distance respectively above an infinite grounded conducting sheet kept in the xy plane at a point 00z, where z is greater than d. The electrostatic potential of this charge configuration would approximately be. We have to calculate the potential now. This is the another type of problem. You guys now know how to calculate the force, how to calculate the distance, how to calculate the charge, how to calculate the electric field. Now in this question, I am telling you how to calculate the potential. Okay, all the types of problems I am covering in this lecture, so that any type of problem, if you get in your exam, you can solve that problem. Okay, so there are 4 options and we want to calculate the potential. So we will use this type of procedure. First of all, we will make a diagram. The question is saying there are 2 image charges. First one has magnitude 3q at distance d above the plane. Second one has magnitude -2 at distance 2d. You can see here, this is 00d means x0, y0, z is d. x0, y0, z is 2d. Okay, so we are making this type of diagram. Now we know that this is a method of image problem. That is why we are putting 2 image charges too, having same magnitude but different directions, different signs. This is, if it is plus 3q, then it is minus 3q. If it is minus q, it is plus q. Okay. So first of all, we will calculate monopole moment. To calculate monopole moment, we will add up all the charges. Minus q plus 3q minus 3q plus q, and we will get 0. So if there is no monopole moment, then we will move ahead. Now we will calculate the dipole moment. What is the formula for dipole moment? P equals to charge into distance, na? So the charge and the distance from the center. The charge and the distance from the center. And we will do for all the 4 charges. So we are getting some value for dipole moment. And if there is some value for dipole moment, that means there is some dipole moment existing. And I have told you, if there is some dipole moment, then the potential for dipole moment will vary inversely square of that distance. I have told you that thing now. If the dipole moment is 0, suppose, we will get for any question dipole moment also 0. Then there will always be a quadrupole moment. Okay, and if there is a quadrupole moment, then the potential will vary with the distance as this one, q. I have told you all these things. So we will get the answer like this. So the correct answer will be this one, option number 2, 1/4πε0 2d/3². Okay, next. Oh, it is a quite blur image. I will read out this for you guys. 2-point charges plus 2q and minus q are kept at points with Cartesian coordinates 1, 0, 0 and 2, 0, 0. There are 2 charges situated on 2 coordinates in front of an infinite grounded conducting plate at x equals to 0. The potential at x0, 0 for x greater than 1 depends on xs. This is the same question we have solved now. This question is from NET December 2018. Just look this paper of NET December 2018. You will get this problem. I think you will get this more clear image. Sorry for this image.
It's visible.
Yes.
It's okay. It's clearly visible. No problem.
Okay. It is visible, right? Sorry guys, because I thought to change this image, but I got no time. Yes. So how to solve this? The same method. You will check first monopole moment. It is 0. Then you will check dipole moment. If it is again 0, then there is surely a quadrupole moment. If there is a quadrupole moment, I have told you, then potential will vary with distance as inverse of q. So you will get your right option as 1, x raised to the power minus 3. Yeah, this is all from my side. If you guys have any query, you can ask me. I will put one assignment again. Today you will check on drive now, you will get that assignment. And yes, there are some most important topics I am telling you with the aspect of exams. Now just uh, review the short notes only. Don't touch new topics. Okay, there is no time to read new topics. Don't read theory. Just do more and more assignments, do more and more questions. So for important topics for electromagnetism are Biot-Savart law and applications of Biot-Savart law, Ampere's circuital law and applications of that law, method of images, electromagnetic waves, polarization of waves, boundary conditions of electrostate and magnetostate. Okay, all the boundary conditions I have told you, and how to calculate net force, net electric field, net potential for the group of charges. You guys know those things now. So obviously you can solve those questions, because one question always comes from the 12th standard. Okay, and in the 12th standard, there were these types of problems only. So to calculate net force, net electric field, just practice those questions also. And this is all you guys will do for EMT. And I think you can get at least 25 marks in this subject. From this subject, you can get 25 marks. This is an important subject. Don't yes.
Ma'am, EM in dielectric is important. EM electromagnetic in dielectric.
What are you asking, Harun? You are not clear.
Hello, I am asking that EM theory in dielectric, there are many wave equation, other type of wave equation like plasma in dielectric or other EM electromagnetic wave in plasma.
Yes.
This is important.
Actually, I have teach you electric fields in dielectric and polarization in dielectric. But for plasma types of questions, see, there are not more than 1 or 2 questions I have seen from the topic of plasma. So this is not important to read about plasma. Yes, but dielectric is an important topic.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so in today's or tomorrow's assignment, I will also put some questions from dielectrics so that you can do more.
Ma'am, and for Poisson equation solution is important. Poisson equation solution.
Actually, Poisson equation and Laplace equation are for the boundary conditions only. So just practice those questions which will solve the boundary conditions, which are related to the boundary conditions. You can easily get the concept of Poisson's and Laplace equation.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. So hope so. We will meet again when your paper ends. I will request Ankita ma'am to make a meeting for all the students, and if we can, maybe we can discuss the paper after we will give the paper. The paper is on 19, na? On 19 of November. Yes. So all the best, and